Coles, maybe when you look at a game like Saturday night, and obviously there's a lot going on leading into it, and obviously the Battle of Alberta, but what stood out to you about the way that you guys were able to start that game but finish it as well?
Yeah, I thought the will to win was there the whole night. I think it was a game we knew we needed. It was a team that we had been needing to beat for a little while now, and I thought to a man everybody showed up and competed the right way and was in it together, and guys made great plays, and more importantly we had that team fighting us.
What does a win like that do for your group? And you'd mentioned that team fight. I mean, it was physical, it was chippy, there was goals. Everybody was. I mean, that's a pretty complete win. What does it do for your group, especially when you've already beaten a couple of heavyweights prior?
Well, if this doesn't give you the confidence this stretch run now, then you're never going to find it. So, we feel good about where we're at. We're playing together. Everyone's having fun with it. Try to keep any of the noise of standings and things like that out of it, and just go play our game and stick together. And I think at this point we all know we got each other's backs, and it's another great opportunity here with 3 more home games coming up.
You mentioned a couple times last week that you guys hadn't had the wins against Edmonton you wanted, and you just mentioned it was a team you guys needed to beat. So it was wearing on you, the way it was going on that rivalry a little bit?
Not wearing, it's a team you want to beat. It's a team that, in our eyes, if we're going to go on a playoff run and do something meaningful here, that's a team we're going to need to go through at some point. And, they had gotten the better of us lately, and I think, it's just one of those things where, you gotta punch back and get yourself into these series, and they still got us 2-1, so we got to take care of them one more time.
Speaking of punching back, you see Huberdeau get into it. You see a guy like you get into it, and that obviously goes a long way with your teammates to show. You mentioned that getting the fight and battling back. When it gets physical like that, and guys who aren't necessarily known for getting under the skin or fighting, what can that do for the group?
Well, it just shows the guys care. I think, like I said, I think it got into a point where, at this point in the season, every point matters and every game matters, and no matter who it is, we got to be willing to scratch and claw for everything we get, and that's the type of team we are. And you see guys like QB, and it went down the lineup last game. You see everybody willing to put it on the line like that. It means a lot to the guys in the room, and generally, in my experience, that's when teams really start to take off.
Feel good to throw a couple?
Yeah, it's been a little while, so good to get it dirty again.
Yeah. The hit that you threw on Connor, is that when you see an opportunity, is that a chance for you to kind of up the emotion level? Do you think, like, does it go through your head when you see him like that? I'm just curious as to how you saw that develop.
It's an Oiler player. It's anybody on the other team. If you get a chance to get a lick on them, you're going to finish your hits, and that's what my role is, be hard to play against. And it doesn't really matter who's wearing the sweater. I treat everybody the same on those teams, and obviously people ran with it more than I even thought they would, but to me it's finish your check and be tough to play against, and that's all it is.
How'd your fight with Yanmar come about without you being in the penalty box before play?
Obviously we had the little run in right before, and both go to the box, and just exchanging hellos in the box, and then just at the end just asked if we wanted to go, and we got out, and both said yes, and that was it.
How can a fight like that, how can that affect your bench when you do it or other guys do that?
Well, it's like I said, I think it was just overall team toughness all game, not just that fight. I thought it was everywhere, and I know from my experience watching other guys that maybe don't necessarily do it all the time, it's just kind of energizes the group a little bit more, in my opinion. I think obviously you got your guys that are prone to do it 6, 7, 8 times a year, and they've got their specific roles for a reason, and they're good at what they do. But sometimes when guys step up into that role that aren't typically in it, just provides a little bit extra spark, and I thought the guys rallied well. Obviously scored those 2 goals pretty quickly after, and they put the game away while I was in there.
How much spark did that? It was early. was good. Like you could tell it meant a lot to Nazem when he scored that goal. How much did that kind of set the tone for the rest of the night?
It's a great start. He wins a one-on-one battle. Makes a great play on a pass from walks, and anytime you score early and get a lead in a game like we did, was it 3-0? Obviously, you're going to feel good at that point, but there was a lot that got us to that point. Guys were ready to play right from the drop, and like I said, I think we're all in the realization that every point matters at this point, and everybody we're chasing or in that battle with has been playing good hockey, so it's going to be it's definitely not going to be an easy climb, but that's why you really got to string off wins and take care of your own business.
When we hear about the identity of this team from you guys, it's often about defensive responsibility being hard to play against. But I mean, I think since January 1st, you guys are 7th in 5-on-5 scoring in the league. A bunch of games where you're scoring 5 or 6. Has that become part of the identity of this team?
Well, it just speaks to the fact that everybody's found their game. I think we touched on it all year. We're 4 lines, 3 pairs, and when we have that going, we're able to score a lot of goals because you look at the contributions we got. It's always up and down the lineup. It's not one line putting up 4 or 5 goals in a night. It's every line getting 1, maybe 2, and maybe special teams chipping in. So that's our recipe. We've found a good rhythm here right now, and ultimately at this point, it's on us to not fall back into that inconsistency that we've been plagued with all year.
It seems like Jonathan Huberdeau has been finding his game. 21 points in his last 22 games. What's it been like for you seeing his confidence improve over the last month and a half?
Well, I know I've seen enough of Hubie throughout my career to know how good of a player he is, and to me, it's no surprise. It just, sometimes things take time to find your rhythm, and he's been a big reason why we're winning a lot of games right now, and we're counting on him and his line to produce, and they've come through for us in big ways. So I don't think it comes as a surprise to anybody in our room.
As a guy, he's always talking to us whenever he has to answer questions about that. Like what can you say about him as a human being and how he's taken ownership for the earlier struggles and obviously not doing super well?
Well, I think he's his own toughest critic. I think, and I know how I've been there too. I think when you're your own toughest critic and people start to pile on and pile on and pile on, it can get heavy. And to Hubie's credit, he never showed it. He came to work every day. He was a good teammate. He was a good friend. He did what he could to get better. And like I said, I don't think anybody ever expected this to, his struggles to drag on. I think we expect him to be who he is now. And he's, like I said, he's a big part of our team moving forward.